This is the big game. Buy-in cost you somewhere anywhere between $100,000 and $250,000. And the action is on Andrew Feldman from the UK.
Andrew, a very tidy player, but he's been pretty quiet so far. Not now, though. Under the gun, he makes it 2,100 to go.
Well, he's got 9-10 of hearts, an interesting hand, suited connector. And there is our Hungarian billionaire, Sandor, in the action. He's picked up 9-jack offsuit.
Sandor feels lucky. What about Massa?
Well, Massa's picked up pocket eights here. Could potentially raise. No, he just makes the call, playing a bit carefully. Gus gets out of the way, around to Tom Dwan, who, as you can see by the amount of chips in front of him, is having a very, very good day.
And that has inspired him to make the call with just a 5-3 offsuit.
So 4 to the flop, and here it comes. It is an ace 8-4 flop, massive flop for Masa Kagawa, flopping middle set. Dwan has an inside straight draw.
Nothing there for Feldman. But he is going to make the continuation bet.
5,500.
5,500 is the amount. Sandor gets out of the way. Round to Massa now with his middle set.
A lot of blinking from the Japanese man. I wonder whether the expert players will be picking up on that. So he's sitting with him for quite a while.
He decides not to raise. He's just going to call here, trapping. Now,
is that pricing Tom Dwan in?
Well, with that many chips in front of you, like you mentioned earlier, you know, sometimes you can speculate with risky hands, and it looks like that's what he's doing. And he's reaching for chips, so he's not going anywhere. He makes the call, and we go to the turn. And the turn is a 2 of spades, so Tom Dwan's speculation has paid off. And he checks.
Check.
And Feldman checks as well, so it's over to Massa now, who at the flop was such a favourite. And now could be betting into, well, a storm, really.
Yeah, he's going to need the board to pair. We know he's not going to get Tom Dwan off this hand. Tom at the moment has the nuts.
11,000.
He bets 11,000. Now it's over to Durr. Will he choose to raise? He's generally been slow playing his monster hands, as we saw a little earlier with Chris Ferguson.
But Massa is no Chris Ferguson, and it may be that Tom will play it differently against the less experienced player.
Looks like he's reaching for the bigger priced chips, the more expensive ones.
Yeah, remember, this is value for value, the same as cash. So it's like he's taking a big wad out of his wallet.
And he makes a very big raise. Andrew Feldman gets out of the way, and the action is back over to Massa. It's a tough spot, really.
Yeah. The shipping magnate, I'm sure, knows his way around a boardroom. He's also a successful poker player, certainly in terms of Japanese rankings. But playing against Tom Dwan is a whole different kettle of sushi.
Well, he's re-raising here. He's decided, I think I've got the best hand.
How much is it? 49,200 to call.
49,200 to call for Tom Dwan, who has the nuts. He's decided not to slow play this hand, and it looks as though it's paid off at this point. Massa still has outs to the river.
So Tom Dwan's going to be putting him either on a set or ace-king here. A big, big ace anyway.
Well, he's made an incredible call at the flop, and it has paid off. Right now, he's just trying to figure out how to get the most chips out of Massa. Massa still has a lot of outs. But right now, Durr is in the best position possible. And he makes a call, so choosing not to re-raise Massa right there. Massa still has a lot of money left in front of him. So Massa looking for a repeat. And the river is a king of hearts, so Tom Dwan has the nuts.
And if Tom Dwan was putting him on ace-king, he checks!
Wow, that is very courageous and gutsy poker from Tom Dwan. Checking there, risking a possible check from Massa behind him and not getting paid off on the river. And look at that, it's paid off. Massa picks up $100,000 in one chip and bets 70 of it.
Yeah, even though he'll get some change back from that plaque that's gone in, he's more or less committing himself.
Play moves all in.
And there it is, Tom Dwan pulling the trigger, Massa quickly calling, and look at the disgust in his face as he sees such a big turn card for Tom Dwan and such a terrible card for him.
Amazing, there is $400,000 and more in the middle of this base, and Tom Dwan has just won it with a 3-5 offsuit.
Well, he took a big risk and it certainly paid off.
Feeding a and Patrick Antonius wins.
It's a hell of a band-aid. We've still got a lot of poker to play. I'm sitting next to the 2005 World Series of Poker main event champion. I have to say that every time before I announce your name, Joe. Unfortunately, it's a hell of a title. So, you've played these stakes. Do you approach this field? I mean, the answer will be yes, but let's get more into it. Do you approach this field a lot differently to a main event, for example?
It's when you play in this field, you're playing with a known quantity. You know the players, you know their tendencies, you know they're not going to do anything ridiculous. So it's kind of like it helps you corral their activities. Whereas when you play in a large field event with a lot of unknowns, a lot of players who are amateur players, they could do anything, like we saw Dwaglen do in the main event. You know, like this event, there's more pressure because the level of thinking is higher, but at the same time, how do I say? I don't want to use the word easier, but I want to use the word more predictable, perhaps. Like, I know that he's going to make a move that makes sense.
And they seem so relaxed too. Look at this. Well, we have Jason Moe raising with Queen Jack offsuit. Richard Yong calls and flops a full house, and it looks as though Jason's going to bet into him with what he thinks is a straight draw that might be live.
We haven't spoken about Jason. Jason's a young gun of an online player. He has built up a very impressive record online and is very feared.
Well, he bets 65,000 and gets a call from Richard Yong. And look at this, the turn, as though it was scripted, a 9 of spades. So that will cost Jason Moe, I'd imagine, quite a bit.
The poker gods are so cruel, aren't they?
They sure are. Well, the pot now almost 300,000. Jason Moe with 1.2 behind him. Turns a straight. Little does he know Richard Yong is sitting on a full house. And he's pretty much flopped him dead. There is no chance that Jason will win this hand. He has bet 145,000. Will Richard Yong elect to call? Or will he pull the trigger now? Richard Yong, the dealer, tells him there's 20 seconds left on the clock. Each player has 30 seconds.
Jason bets out 145,000.
Richard Yong making a big bet of over 350,000 now, trying to get the rest of Jason Moe's money, given that Jason has such a strong hand. Is this the time, Joe? Is this where he sticks it in? Would he be wrong to?
No, it wouldn't be wrong to. Look, you know, I've said it time and time again. It's hard enough to make a pair, let alone a straight, let alone a full house. So it's sometimes you just get cold decked. This is a cold deck.
Jason calls.
He's announced call, so we will see a river. And the river is an 8 of hearts and gives
Well,
Richard Yong quads, and he announces all in. So
Unfortunately, Paul, though, that is the worst card in the deck for Richard. Because now Jason beats nothing now. It's an easy fold for him at this point. We've noticed the dealer in the background calling 20 seconds. This tournament is played, everyone only gets 30 seconds to act on their hand. And you see the blue buttons in front of every player? That's extended time. So you get like another minute, a minute and a half if you want to think about your hand. And the reason we've done this is so that people do not think for too long. and waste time.
Is it possible that the lucky 8 on the river for Richard Young giving him quads could be a saviour? And it is, Joe, you're right. It saved Jason Moe. He would likely have called had that river been anything else.
Yeah,
But Richard
I mean,
Young with a very...
I think O'Mahony is going to play now.
Yeah.
Raised 6,000 total.
Oops. It spells trouble for Hickman.
You hate to see a cold deck hand happen, but Daz Hickman is about to be on the back end of some awful cards. And, in this particular
Three raise.
format, Ken, it's really hard
20,000 more, 20.
to get off of this kind of situation, big pair against big pair,
Yeah,
isn't it?
folding queens, I don't know how. It would be hard for me to fold queens in this format, I'm telling you that.
The re-raise is 20,000 more. Oh, wow.
Wow! Look at this! Talk about cold deck!
Queens versus kings versus
Oh, look at
aces.
that face! Oh, yum yum yum! I like these sweets.
Achilles,
Sweets for my sweet, sugar for the daddy.
Achilles is one of the great trappers of all time. And he'll probably sit here for about 7 minutes. Do you think he's going to move all in, though? Is there any reason that he might try and smooth call here?
Yeah, if he's greedy and wants all the chips from both players. As it is, a call here would be perfect, because then the kings would come over the top.
But, I mean, even if he does re-raise all in, can't that possibly look like ace-king?
Yeah, I mean, kings are not gonna fold, but queens can get off the hook. If he moves all in and kings calls, but queens might call anyway.
I don't know if I've ever seen this before. Queens versus kings versus aces in the same hand.
Looks like he's having a very difficult decision with his pocket jacks.
And the Oscar goes to... There he is.
No, that was quite imminent. I was just knew it was going to happen, but I just didn't. I was trying to work it. Might do it in
This,
a minute.
how many pocket pairs are out here?
I'm surprised. you
Many.
No, got off.
4 pocket pairs.
5!
5 pocket pairs. Wow,
took.
that's
Anyway,
amazing.
if you've got a hand, I've got a
You
hand.
really don't want to play.
It's gotten very fortunate for Dale Hoy and Johnny Houston that they don't have to stick a chip in the pot.
You really
But
don't.
what is O'Mahony thinking right now?
Thank you, Lord. Give me another one. Oh, he likes his hand for sure.
House.
We could see a triple all in.
Good hand.
And O'Mahony's asked for a count. I mean, he is a conservative guy. He's wearing a blue blazer
He
for
can
crying
never
out
fold
loud.
kings.
6,000
Folding kings would be a big mistake in the long run. If you start trying to second guess yourself, trying to make big laydown with kings, you're just, you're just not doing the things right.
Yeah, I know that's what Dan Harrington says in his book. He says, listen, it doesn't matter. Don't fold kings. If the guy gets aces, you can dog him anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And this table absolutely silent. But 3 hearts are going flap, a flap, flap. And I wonder what Daz Hickman is thinking as
I
well.
was thinking about that too, because this spells trouble for him, because of the both opponents are thinking so long. He thinks his queens are probably good. He thinks maybe I'm up against ace king, or ace king jacks. So I think he's gonna put the chips in as well.
Do you really want to go home now?
Chestnut Gillies. Don't sling that one in. I mean, there will be better opportunities than this.
I just
99 out of 100 players.
I mean, is O'Mahony thinking right now for the benefit of trying to get Hickman's action, or is he actually considering that Kalakis might have aces?
good hand. He's find it hard to put down.
He's probably trying to get Hickman's money as well. But now it's enough with acting. Put the chips in the middle. Spin the wheel.
This is
You
amazing.
quite committed.
You're going to tell him about it or not?
Give us a link.
I feel like I could go and have a look at his hand and kick you under the table.
The funny thing is, O'Mahony's only
One
got
foot pastoral then.
6,000 in.
I could tell you what you could do with them right now. I think you've got the hand.
Wow!
Oh,
Wow.
my.
He trusted the instincts, and they were absolutely right.
I've never ever seen kings folded pre-flop in this format before, and I mean that's one of the greatest laydowns we've ever seen, or one of the worst.
It was a great laydown. He had the instincts that Kalakis had a hand, and he did, so he was right. You can't take that away from the guy. 98 out of 99 times it's the correct move to put the chips in the middle, but this time it was correct to fold, and he found the great play. And he gives the trouble to Hickman instead.
Yeah, Hickman would have found it much easier to fold these queens.
Call.
If O'Mahony had folded, and look at this! O'Mahony is going to pat himself on the back 6 ways to Sunday, while Hickman...
I'll give you one guess what I folded.
Ace.
King.
I folded 7.
Kings.
Wow.
He's pretty pleased with himself.
No matter what happens from here, O'Mahony feels like he won. Of course,
no king.
We're liable to see a few kings on the flop.
He doesn't want a king.
I'm not even going to ask you.
Told the dealer no king.
Now, the only good news for Hickman here is that he's not all in.
Yeah.
But he's going to be short-stacked unless a queen comes.
Well, he looks like a ladies' man. That's the king. It's like, Lady Luck always rewards bad play and punish good play. She's got a weird sense of humor, that's for sure.
It really does. Dan Harrington proved right here. Poor Dennis Mahoney.
How about a 5 for a straight?
If you know what I'm saying from my point of view.
Well, anything but a queen. Hickman's drawing to 2 cards here. And that's it.
5 of hearts.
Oh! 3rd place! For Achilles Kalakis with the 2 aces. What a hand! A queen on the river.
Hand. Give me some water. Wow.
That's tough.
Keep them for yourself.
What a
This
hand.
deck is colder than a polar bear's freezer. Achilles Kalakis taking a long walk of game.
That's all.
That.
That was an amazing, amazing hand.
What a pot. That's one for the books.
Inspired pass pre-flop, but knowing that you folded the winner, will O'Mahony's emotions come out? Phil Hellmuth knows something about that.
Call.
And the limp in.
No raise.
I mean,
Yeah,
first
I mean-
level, you're not a big fan of limping in really, with anything, or are you?
No, not at all. But I mean, the term they use on the internet, all the young kids these days, it's called mind setting, where they're trying to like trap a set and they hit a set, and there you go. But oh my goodness me, look at this.
How big could this pot get?
6,000.
Set, flush, straight.
Wow.
Cool.
Quick call from Achilles. I mean, he's not really to know right now how much action he could get by fast playing this, is he?
No, but he's made absolutely the correct move, because the last thing he wants to do is see another spade on the turn.
Landers has got the straight. I mean, what should happen now?
Well, quite rightly, Timmy's obviously of the opinion that he's betting, say, a lone ace or a pair. He's got a big hand here.
And he's made a big bet.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see Kalakis putting his hand down. I think those two are going to go to war, but I can see Donahue being clever enough to pass, but it is a real tight spot, this.
Can you pass a set here? I mean, how mmany options does Donica have? Is raise an option right now for him?
No.
Cool.
Now comes the move, because if Kalakis can push here, if he can find it within himself to push. Oh.
Cool.
Is that a what kind of call is that? I mean, is he actually is he trying to slow play slow? Or is he actually worried?
I think he knows he's winning, but he's just hoping a spade doesn't come in the end. Oh my goodness me! Wow.
Check.
Donica's got 4 threes, and I mean,
and he still looks like he's asleep.
Can this pot get bigger?
I can only see a call. I think if he bets here...
What's the bet size? What should the bet size be?
He's going to bet 32,000 in my book here.
40.
And there you go, bets 40. He's going to get called by Kalakis, and that allows Tim Flanders to fold, because Tim cannot be winning this coup.
We've already seen Achilles is kind of on his A game tonight. I mean, obviously the flush is good, a good hand, but I mean, he doesn't think Donica would be bluffing here, does he?
The information he has got is he's in a 3-way coup, and a 3-way coup will open itself up to a full house being out there, as opposed to if it heads up, you just can't believe they've got it. In his mind, he's betting with the flush. He's playing a hand that's got a bigger flush draw, and maybe there's someone who's got 2 pair or a set.
If somebody had a bigger flush out there, I mean,
I think the hand would have been played faster.
Right.
So I mean that's probably going to mess up his thought process.
Because it's, I mean, and who's he more worried about? Is he worried about?
Call.
Yeah, and Tim has to pass here.
This has been one strange hand. It's kind of amazing that no one's going to go broke here.
Well, you see, what Kalakis' flush is just sort of mid-range, and he was scared of another spade coming out, because when he gets 2 opponents, he's thinking, I'm never going to make somebody with the ace of spades pass. So he needs to see no spades.
Look at that face, Tim. Physical torture pain. But 40,000 is nearly all his stack. Can he beat a bet and a call?
No, no. And I'm sure he's going to be clever enough to understand that. He's just mad that it's paired up at the end, but he doesn't know the pair up at the end has actually saved him. He's not going to be thinking that, but that's exactly how it is.
He's looking at Achilles. He's looking at Donica. I mean, in his wildest dreams, could he say to himself, Achilles? No.
Well, his best chance was to phone a friend. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Take it as a good pass.
What a hand!
Follow straight.
What a hand!
And he'll certainly be looking to do that again here today. Question isn't will he raise, question is how much.
Raise to 100,000.
This time it's a min race, 100,000. So he's varying things up a bit. He's found the 5-6 of spades. So is he hoping to see a flop here, Joe?
No, I think he's just making a raise in position and mixing it up a little bit rather than moving all in every hand.
How much do you have, Fabian?
Confusing his opponents a little bit.
That's 3. 335. 35.
Call.
So Igor Kurganov's going to make the call with the Jack-7 of spades. We'll see a flop.
Heads up to the flop.
Igor Kurganov's the first player to speak. 2-9-3 with 2 spades, so both players
Check.
have flopped a flush draw.
Trickett doesn't want to see a spade on the turn here.
Bet 80,000. 80,000.
So Sam's bet 80,000. Action's back on Igor.
Igor could quite easily check raise here with his spade draw. He's taking the safe option, he's just calling.
To the turn.
So we'll see the turn card, and it's the 4 of spades. Wow, what a card. That has made Sam Trickett a straight flush. He is absolutely unbeatable in this hand. And Igor Kurganov has got a jack-high flush, so he'll think that he's unbeatable. Both players will think they've got the best hand. This will be very, very interesting to watch.
This is what we call a cooler, Jono. All the chips are going into the middle. Sam has the absolute nuts. He's got the best hand possible. Igor's going to call 100%.
So Sam's bet out. He's bet 160,000 behind a check from Igor. So Igor's trying to trap him here, thinking that he's got the best hand. Little does he know that Sam is unbeatable.
All in, call.
All in, call.
Drawing dead. Oh my god.
All in, call. Sam says you're drawing dead and shows him the straight flush.
No mercy, Sam. Straight away, call, you're drawing dead.
I've seen this.
Jesus Christ, man. Like.
I think Sam's been...
An actor and son of Goldie Hawn, who was at our featured table today.
And of course, he's the brother of actress Kate Hudson.
Action is on Sam Farha. On the Milwaukee's Best Light Pocket Cam, Farha has ace-10 offsuit. Sammy's going to bet 200 chips. Everybody in the room starts with their buy-in amount, 10,000 chips. Over to Oliver Hudson in 2002. He was one of People Magazine's 50 most beautiful people.
I don't see it.
Pocket tens.
Raise.
And Oliver is announced to raise.
Raise.
He's going to make it 450 to Sam Farha.
Sammy doesn't like to wait a long time to get his feet wet. This is the first hand of the session, and he's going to call with his ace-10 offsuit.
Oliver Hudson in the lead right now with his pocket tens. The flop is ace, ace, 10. Both get full houses, but Sammy's got the nuts.
You gotta be kidding me. This is the very first hand of the main event for both of these guys. Hudson has tens full. I mean, he can't get up. This is a disaster movie for him.
Farha earns the check mark, but both players check.
Both were slow playing it, and Mr. Hudson is in bad shape. He's got the tens full. He's not going anywhere.
A full house for Oliver Hudson, but it's second best. He bets 300 chips. Farha raises now to 1,300. That's a lot for this point of the tournament. Well, hand one.
All in.
And Hudson goes all in. And Farha calls immediately.
Oh, my God.
Very first hand of their main event. Sammy's got the nuts, and Oliver Hudson is in shock. I mean, someone needs to tell him he can get up. He is drawing dead. He's going home.
A meaningless jack on the river, and Hudson's gone.
First hand.
Nice hand, Sam. Thank you.
That is incredible.
Nice hand. That's it. Holy s***. Hey, nice hand, man. I do. That's the way to get beat, I guess.
He just blew through 10 grand in about 90 seconds. Those are Paris Hilton numbers.
I had to win the first hand, though.
Sammy Farha, on the other hand, doubles his chips in the very first hand.
Sammy, the first one to 20,000 chips today. Made it look easy.
To get through the main event. Back to the featured table now. 3 players in a hand. Mike Matusow, Roberto Romanello, and Greg Geller. Matusow with pocket nines. Romanello has pocket jacks. Geller leads them both with 2 kings.
3 big pocket pairs. I smell trouble.
Flop now is ace, jack, king. Geller hit his set of kings. Romanello a set of jacks, and that missed Matusow.
Set over set. Now I really smell trouble.
Matusow does check. Romanello owns a fish and chip shop in Wales, and he checks. And Geller checks.
Geller should have fired away. Too many draws on that board.
Turn card is a 10. Geller still leads with his 3 kings.
But see, someone's got to have Broadway now, don't they? Well, nobody does, but somebody should.
Matusow checked it. Romanello now checks it over to Geller, who leads, and he checks.
But I got to get a court order to make this guy bet?
Another 10 on the river. Geller gets the check mark with kings full. Matusow's lucky he didn't hit that 9. He checks. Romanello now will bet 1,800 with jacks full.
Yeah, bad time for jacks full. Man, you're right, Lon. Pocket jacks are impossible to play.
Geller now, kings full and a check mark, will raise it to 6,000.
Well, you know, now Geller's check looks brilliant. He's got Romanello trapped.
Matusow gets out of the way. Now to Romanello, needs 4,200 to call.
Just don't raise me.
Geller playing games with Romanello.
You sure if I pass? Pardon me? You sure if I pass? No. One time? No.
The only thing preventing Romanello from pushing all in, and I would have yelled out Heidi Ho an hour ago, was that Geller made a big pre-flop raise, so he could have pocket aces or pocket kings. And unless Romanello's going Hollywood on us, he's actually considering mucking his jacks full, which would be an unconscious laydown. I mean, if he lays this down, I'll move to a Franciscan monastery and become head chef.
Okay, I'll show.
Geller trying to move things along.
Is he really thinking of folding this?
Okay.
He does.
No way he folds.
Yeah, you said he would. Let's go. Fold. You're out. Your hand's dead. Let's go.
And shows.
Wow. How do you fold that hand?
Romanello folds jacks full.
Wow.
And that is the player's good instinct moment.
Oh, my God. I could never have folded that hand. Unbelievable.
Nice fold.
Wow. Okay, I would never have folded that hand. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you.
I knew I was beat.
That is the fold of the tournament that I've ever seen.
Are there even grocery stores near monasteries?
How do I draw tables with people like this? I mean, there's 72 million idiots out there, and I got to drop guys laying jacks full down and being right.
Romanello may sell fish for a living, but he showed he's not one there. So 10 players at this featured table still, including Jennifer Harman, who was absent from last year's main event. She was undergoing a kidney transplant. Successful, we're happy to say. She's got pocket queens and raises to 200. Corey Zeidman from Coral Gables, Florida, made a stud final table last year. 9-8 of diamonds.
Call.
Action on Brady Davis in his first World Series of Poker. He's 34 years old, from Illinois.
You cannot get up from a table here, Lon, without tripping over an internet guy in a Red Sox cap.
3 to our flop now. The flop, 10 Jack Queen. Harman with a set, but Zeidman flops a Queen High straight.
Boy, that is the prelude to some fireworks usually.
Davis checks over to Harman, who's got a set of queens, and she bets 500 chips on Zeidman.
2,000.
He raises it up to 2,000 with that straight.
When you're holding the two smallest cards of a straight, you want to raise everybody else out because you don't want somebody else to get lucky and get a higher straight on you.
Well, he forced Brady Davis out. Now action on Jen Harman. It's 1,500 more to Jen. That is a lot at this stage of the tournament.
She plays it safe and just calls.
Zeidman with the lead with his straight as we go to the turn. The turn is a 10 of diamonds. Harman makes a full house.
And boy, Lon, that's virtually the worst card in the deck that could come out for Zeidman because it gives Jennifer Harman, who checks, an almost unbeatable hand and makes Corey think his hand is even better now because of the straight flush draw on top of his made straight.
1,000.
Zeidman bets 1,000.
And it's just bad luck for Corey Zeidman. He flops the straight, and then the next card gives him a straight flush draw, but if he makes the flush, he can't win. He can only win with the straight flush, and there's only one card left in the deck that could do that for him. Jen in the driver's seat.
It's 1,000 chip bet to Jen Harman, and she's reaching.
3,000.
She raises it to 3,000.
And it is head shaking time now for Corey Zeidman. He doesn't know it, but only one card in the deck, the 7 of diamonds, would save him.
How can I get off of this hand?
Every decision in the main event magnified. Both have monster hands. You lose this hand, your day just might be over.
I think he might have ace-king, actually. I was hoping it wasn't that. Now I'm hoping something else.
Yeah, if she had ace-king, she'd have the higher straight.
Wow.
And his flush, if he made it, then would beat her.
How can I possibly muck this hand?
He can only muck it if he believes that she has the full house already.
I call.
He makes the call. We're going to the river. Jen Harman with a huge advantage. And now the river card. Oh, the perfect card for Zeidman. The 7 of diamonds gives him the straight flush.
And he even checks it again, which an amateur would do, to make sure he's got it. Wow.
Action on Jen Harman, who has the full house. She makes it 3,000 to put Zeidman all in.
Why is Corey acting as if he's agonized?
I guess I could do a lot of sightseeing if I lose this hand.
You can't lose the hand.
All in.
It's over. Zeidman takes the pot.
Straight flush.
I knew you had that hand. Oh, mamma mia.
It was hard to get off. I'm like, gosh, I flopped the straight. I'm like, ace-king is the only hand that's going to beat me now.
Don't put a 7 of diamonds up there.
Wow, nice hand. Thank you. Come on, a little for that. Yeah, all right, yeah.
Jennifer's been told she looks like she's in pain when she plays. She's got good reason right now.
Takes a lot to beat you in a hand. Straight flush home.
Jennifer not getting any consolation from Zeidman. Harman hurting early at the main.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you